Yeah, okay, time to live free. Plenty goals I'm achieving. Some real life topics and talking financial freedom. Mindset, soul and love, everything in between. This is Freedom Podcast. Tune in, live free. Hey, got my mindset right and I got the drive. Planning one day, no more job, no more 9 to 5. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. This is freedom. Tune in, cause it's going down. Woo!
Hi, this is Anna and welcome to another episode of your Freedom Podcast. In this episode, I interview Nicola Carless. Nikki, if you want to go and check her out, you can find out her details at nicolacarless.com. She is a personal trainer and actually was my fitness coach a couple of years ago. In fact, I've known her for quite a while now. Very inspiring lady. She's running a 12-week online program, but she's more than a fitness trainer. She's an inspiring lady. She focuses on helping women over 40 lose 20 pounds and really feel more confident. And it's not just about working out, it's about fitness, it's about lifestyle, it's also about mental well-being. And very inspiring lady, been through a massive journey herself. So for those of you that want to stay fit and healthy and want to be more confident in yourself, you'll really love this interview. Okay, so hi Nikki.
Hi Anna.
I'm really excited about this interview because I've known Nikki. I was trying to work it out earlier, actually. It's got to be over 10 years anyway.
Yeah, definitely over 10 years.
I've known Nikki for a long time, and I used to, when I first met Nikki, I used to go to your Zumba class, actually, many years ago. And more recently, you helped me at the beginning of this year, actually, lose a dress size it was, and with some of your online programs. And I know that you're really focused on empowering women, you know, like my age, over 40.
Yeah, absolutely.
To kind of embrace their health. And I know you're going to share exactly what your mission is. But with the Freedom Podcast, we focus on 3 pillars: love, money, and mind. Love being all around self-care. Money, all about we all want to create some kind of financial freedom. And mind, to kind of stop that Fred in the head, as I call it, that sometimes gets in the way and blocks us moving forward. So I'd really love you to share your story, because I know you're doing some amazing stuff out there. And of course, with everything that's going on in the world right now with the virus, that's also had an impact, I think, with your business and everybody's lives right now. So we can touch on that too. But how did you get into doing all your sports and fitness? How did you get to be doing your studio and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I've always been quite active. Like even as a child, I was always doing something, cartwheels, handstands or whatever. I was always very active. And then what happened was I was in a really bad relationship in my sort of early 20s, and physical, mental abuse. And I found exercise was a way of getting out of the house to be away from that situation.
Yeah.
And also I found that so for instance, I took up swimming, and I used to go about sort of 7 o'clock in the morning before work, or if it was a day off, I'd go early, get myself out, and just doing the physical, just getting away really from the situation and moving, I just found helped with my mental health. It helped me cope with the situation a bit better.
I bet it did.
Yeah, and then I found like an aerobics class. I've always loved dancing and I've always loved music, and I absolutely love this class. The music, the movement again helped me, and I think it was I know it sounds a bit bizarre, but that gave me confidence in myself doing the exercise sessions, because I think it gave me confidence in how I was feeling and how I looked as well. Because one of the things that, it was mental abuse, you don't look good, you X, Y, all those sorts of things. So I think actually going out there and doing something on my own and not needing him, because that's one thing you always sort of said, you're never going to be any good on your own, you're never going to be able to do anything on your own, and that actually gave me the confidence to eventually leave that situation, and it was a horrendous situation, to be honest. At the time I was working as a housing officer, and I was doing my housing
I
studies.
love these interviews because I get to know all this gossip that I never knew.
Yeah, completely different. But so at the time I was doing my housing studies. And since I'd left school, I'd actually studied something. I like learning, so I'd studied something, and I decided that because I was enjoying the exercise and I wanted to learn more about the body and its effects on the mind and physical body. For me, I had no intention of teaching anybody, just wanted to learn about the body for me. So after I'd finished my housing studies, I enrolled on an exercise to music course. And if anyone, like people who knew me from school, I was super shy, The thought of getting up in front of people and have them all looking at me and watching me so that wasn't my intention to teach at all. And I remember Mary, the tutor, she remember the first time I had to teach something, I was sweating, when you're cold, you're sweating. But anyway, I did that course, and I remember her saying to me, Nikki, you've got to teach because you've just got a natural way about you, and it would be a shame if you didn't actually go out there and just try and teach some classes. So I did, and I was a nervous wreck for about 2 years every time I taught a class. So basically that's how I got into teaching fitness, because I thought if it helped me deal with a situation that was pretty bad, really bad, I didn't talk to anybody about how I felt. I was even given up, I went to the doctors. I did have a real bad sort of skin condition, and it was all related to stress. And I remember them saying, right, we're going to give you some antidepressants. And I remember thinking, I was 26. I thought, I don't want antidepressants. And exercise for me was my antidepressant.
I think it works. I think I know from everything that I've been through with the boys and stuff. I remember, I think it was like a social worker saying to me that, get the boys doing physical stuff. And I was like, well, I already do. The boys don't, because I'd already recognised that before, that especially little boys, they just need to go and burst all that energy out, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
And even now with Jacob, it's actually his 13th birthday today. And
Happy birthday,
I must have known you over 13 years.
Yeah.
But he's the last year, he's like a size 10 shoe. He's got pubic hair now. Not that the whole world needs to know this. He's spotted, he's got the whole hormonal thing going on, but it's been very early. He had it, like say, for the last year. And he's sometimes been like, oh, I don't want to go to cricket tonight. But then I noticed after he's a different child. Yeah. So it's just that, well, your science around it, or your endorphins or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
If you've got any kind of stuff going on in your life or any kind of stress, I think just being able to exercise and release that energy, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Even if it's a walk, it doesn't have to be an exercise class or, a gym session. It can be just going for a walk can make you feel so much better. And I think at that time, obviously, I was like, mid-20s. I was 29, I think, nearly 30 when I actually passed my exercise to music. I was 26 when I came out of the bad relationship, but and I just remember thinking, if this can help me, this can help other people. So that's where I started my purpose. I've always been in jobs where I've helped people feel better about themselves. So for instance, I did hairdressing when I first left school, and it was about helping women feel, look better and feel more confident in the way they look. So I suppose all of my roles that I've had are helping people in some way. But I think for me, like my purpose now, because I'm older, I'm 52, so it's evolved. So it's always been about helping women feel better about themselves through exercise and good nutrition. And I suppose now, because of my age and gone, in perimenopause, going through into menopause, then it's about helping women, mostly now sort of over 40, feel good about themselves, feel confident and just sexy in their own skin, because it's a difficult transition for a lot of women.
Going, yeah, going to. And I think I've got to say that, you know, I've been to other classes, I've been to the gym, I've done different things, and you definitely have this uniqueness about. I think it is your energy that you. It makes sense now. You explaining kind of how, because I also think when you go through stuff, you are the best person to then help other people, aren't you? Because, like you
Absolutely,
say,
yeah, because you can empathise, can't you?
exactly, and you going through that, well, finding exercise was working for you and wanting to do that course because you wanted to understand it better. It then naturally go into, well, then you go on to help each other because you know it's helped you.
Absolutely,
But I
yeah.
definitely think you've all, I can't explain it fully in words, but you've definitely got this, like you know, coming to your classes that you want people, but it's more than your classes, just overall that you want people to get to an outcome, really,
Yeah.
or get the results. It's not just about coming to a class. It's that you want people to change their lives, really.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
always does come across, I think.
I think, you know, I do love what I do, and I think you have to with that sort of business, because it's hard work and it's long hours. But yeah, for me to see a woman, you know, from week 1 to say week 12 at the end of like a 12-week program, and it's not always about weight loss. Initially people come to me and they say, Nikki, I want to lose X amount of weight, and you know, I feel horrible. But actually what happens is they see so many other benefits along the way. The weight loss becomes not the big thing in the end. Yes, you know, they usually lose weight because they're doing all the right things and getting all the right habits and things into place, and eventually that is a side effect of doing exercise or eating well. But they've noticed lots of other positive things, like feeling more confident. You know, they start coming in fitness wear that's more slimmer fitting than the baggy t-shirt, and it's things like that. And for me, that is just like wonderful. Like for me to see a woman like bloom just through just choosing the right nutrition and doing some exercise, it's just amazing. So yeah,
I saw one of your lives actually recently on Facebook, and I think it was a lady that was saying that she had a lot of anxiety or
yes,
worries and things, and that just so it started about weight loss, but actually it gave her so much more with her work and all sorts of different things, I think she was saying.
that's right, yeah. And then of course, you know, it makes you can then manage, because we all have things that come up in life, don't we? All have things thrown at us. And I think that the lady that you were talking about, she was having an extension at the time at a house, and that wasn't going so well, and she was having a lot of stress over that. And she's got 2 teenage girls, and her work was changing as well. But actually, she stuck through the plan. She said, actually, having the plan that I'd given her, it meant that was one less thing to think about. She just looked at it, right, that's what I'm doing today. Nick has told me to do that. That's what I'm doing. And she said that was one less worry for her. And eventually the girls were like, Mom, your food looks better than ours. And they wanted to, you know, have her food instead, because initially they were like, no, we don't want to eat that. And now the whole family are on board, and they're all benefiting from it. So
So as regards to like, because one of the pillars is mind that we talk about, and I also talk about a thread in the head, because I think it just sums it up. We have that voice in our head, don't we, that sometimes stops us from doing things. And we were talking about that just before we went live, actually. Have you noticed as well, like the people that you've helped as regards to their mental health, especially during, because obviously you've been, you know, you've had your studio closed throughout this pandemic, you know, you've had a lot of challenges, and you've moved things online. You were doing online stuff before, but you moved more stuff online. What has helped people that you've helped throughout this, you know, crisis, I suppose?
Yeah, well, a lot of the feedback I had, because so obviously we had to close the studio. I think it was something like the 20th of March. I had got some online stuff going, but what I had to do really for all the members that come to the studio, I sort of thought, right, okay, I've got to take all of those classes online now, or pretty much all of them. So we did do it fairly quickly. We got it all set up so that all the members were in a group, and I still delivered those sessions to them live, you know, online, obviously through a screen. But I knew they were with me, so and obviously they could see me, and it was live, so they were still getting their sessions. And one of the things that a lot of feedback I've had is that it's having those sessions, having that time, right, Nick is going to be live at 6 o'clock tonight and we're going to do, you know, a hit session or whatever. That kept them sane, because everything else was changing, but actually me keeping their sessions going has kept them going. So one of the big things was that it definitely helped mental health. I've had lots of messages from people saying that, and then it kept them sane, and it helped keep me sane as well, because then I had a purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
you still had that, you hadn't lost all those people. So I mean, I'm sure there was probably some people that didn't do the online thing, but generally you kept your members going, didn't you? So you were
there were a few that the online didn't suit them for whatever reason. Some of them hadn't, you know, got the internet or technology to go online. But yeah, and the support that I've got from my members obviously helped me, because they were happy to carry on paying for their membership, because they were still getting sessions, albeit at home rather than online. But what I did lend out as much equipment as I could. So just before we knew we were going to go into lockdown, so just before that was like, right, okay, to the members, look, if you want to borrow some dumbbells or a kettlebell. And that's what happened. Some people had got their own stuff. So it did mean,
I know from Amazon sales, like if you were selling in sports and fitness in April, May, June, literally I've been working with a couple of ladies together who do a yoga brand, and their yoga mat that was really expensive because it's made out of bamboo and hemp literally was flying off the Amazon shelves, because obviously the gyms were closed.
Absolutely,
and people didn't have stuff at home, did they? And I know that from other people in that niche with dumbbells and things like that, have been literally flying out, and people have been
I could have made a fortune selling all my stuff. But then I'd have had to buy it back again, wouldn't I? So I lent some equipment out, and you know, and that meant that they were still able to do, you know, a kettlebell class. A lot of people that, you know, women who come to me, I do encourage to do weight training, because obviously it has so many benefits, especially for women over 40. So it just meant that we were still able to do some of those sessions as well as the body weight sessions. So
keeping that connection going, I suppose, like you say, because everybody was at home, people were trying to work from home, had kids at home, but just keeping, I suppose, a bit of time that they can still, because I know I was really like focused on, oh my god, I'm going to start putting weight on because I'm not as active, I'm at home, what can I do? Let's go to the park, do this, you know. So I think keeping that going isn't just being fit, keeping fit and healthy as it is mentally, we need it. So it's good that you were able to keep things going, really.
And I think it was the mental health thing that was the biggest issue for quite a lot of my clients. You know, that obviously they like to exercise because they'd come to the studio regularly. But from the feedback I've had, a lot of it really helped. They said they worked their day around when I was teaching the classes. So nothing could impact on that. And also what was really great was some of them had their kids joining in, you know, because obviously they've got the kids there, so they got the kids more active, and also husbands sometimes would join in. Yay!
That's interesting. No, but that's really good though. I think that's really good. I know a lot of people, I know someone who's doing Pilates and yoga, and they managed to do things online. It's not perfect, but at least you were still able to deliver.
There was no other option.
Exactly.
No other option. And that's what I said to my members. Said, look, you know, this is the only option we've got at the moment. You know, this is what I can do. This is how we can do it. And they were really supportive on, you know, generally on the whole, they were really supportive, and they just come on board with me. And because they knew as well that if they didn't do that, then when the studio opened a few months down the line, they would be hurting coming back to the studio after not exercising for a few months.
Exactly. So if I'm just imagining now, someone's listening to this, they're like 42, maybe they're starting to feel like there could be some hormonal changes with menopause fast approaching,
Yeah.
Anything that you want to share or offer any help or advice to those people? Maybe someone who's not eating very well, has got themselves in a bit of a rut. What advice would you give them as regards to everything, like the nutrition, the health? Because I definitely think going for walks. I love going for walks in nature. I think it's the nature part of it.
Yeah.
It's not really for fitness. I do it more that I just want to let's get out of the house, and
getting the fresh air. Yeah. Well, obviously during lockdown, having the studio closed, I had lots of like roller coaster emotions up and down, because was I going to lose the studio? Because obviously we're still having to pay all the bills. Obviously even though I had members stay on board, I had a lot that didn't, so financially we were impacted. It's our only source of income. So there was a lot of stress around that. It was very difficult. So say doing my sessions helped me just as much as it helped my clients. But one thing that I did do every week, we went for a longer walk on the Sunday. And we actually walked around the area where we live, where we hadn't even walked before, because we were all so busy. So I just made it that we did that every week. And I remember the one day I was so low this one Sunday, and I said to Paul, look, we've just got to go out for a walk because I know I'm going to feel better. By the time I'd finished the walk, and a friend phoned me on the way back, had a real good, we were both having a good old moan and a good old rant. And by the time I'd sort of done the walk and had a chat with my friend, I felt so much better. And it just, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I was really low on that morning, but by the end of the day, just because of those two things, just connecting with somebody and just having a little bit of a chat and a walk just made me feel so much better. And I think there's a lot of changes going on in our bodies when we get into perimenopause. And obviously for some women it might not happen until late 40s, some women it's early 40s. And I think if you've got a lot of overwhelm in your life already, trying to perhaps make a huge change, like change everything all in one go, might be just too much. So for people who are in overwhelm already, perhaps got teenage children, because I know a lot of my clients have, and they may have parents that they perhaps have to look after. So exactly. And then what happens is you sort of like, you get left behind. You're sort of like, you're not priority anymore, because you've got your kids. Maybe if you've got teenage girls and they're going through their hormonal things as well, and then you've got your parents perhaps you've got to look after. Maybe you're working full time. So what I recommend to people, to women who are in that situation, is just do one thing. Just change one thing at a time. It doesn't matter if it takes a bit longer for you to get where you want to be, but you need to be able to, it needs to be fitting into your life that it doesn't cause any more overwhelm than what you've already got. So it might be that, right, get your breakfast right. Let's have a look at what you're doing now. How can we make that better? And then when that becomes a habit, right, okay, let's have a look at your lunch, or let's like try and do some walking every day. And then when you feel that you can add a bit more in, why not try this session? So, and Pilates, yoga, I mean, I teach Pilates, I don't teach yoga, but obviously both of them are very, very good for de-stressing. So each woman will be individual. So when I speak to anybody and have that first conversation, I just look at where they are now. What have they got in their lives, and then we talk about how we can make some changes. And for some women, they say, right, Nikki, just tell me what to do. Tell me everything I've got to do, and I'm going to do it all, or like a whole thing. And that works for some women, but not for everyone. So
I think sometimes it can be overwhelming that you've got to, and also we always want it now, don't we? Because I know this from coaching for people creating businesses online, that you're moving from like a job, and then you want this business, and actually it can take 12 months, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's actually incremental steps, like you say. It's funny how
Yeah.
you got your one thing. I always do this, focus on 3 things you're going to do in a week.
Yeah.
And it's not overwhelming someone with so much change that it's just they're not going to do it, are they? Because it's
No,
too much.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, for some people it might,
step by step.
exactly. And for some women, you know, it might be that I say, right, okay, we'll do 2 or 3 or 4 changes. And then I just work with the individual to see what, you know, how we can fit some exercise in, how we can get better nutrition, because obviously all of those things will help with sleep patterns. So a lot of people come to me and don't sleep very well, you know, and especially if they're having sort of hot flushes and things like that, and looking at foods that perhaps will help them to ease that symptom.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
because that was one thing that I took away, because I've always done have like this little routine, because I used to sleep really badly, and it's, if I've got time, it is usually probably 4 nights out of 7 I do this on average, and it's always running a bath and having like magnesium salts or
perfect,
something like that. I know that's going to detox, or but just basically it's more the relaxing. It might just even be a few drops of lavender oil. In fact, the other day I didn't have anything. I put some tea tree oil in. It was a bit strong. But I like to just have this routine of doing that, because it helps you wind down. And I remember on your stuff, it was always around getting an early night, and I'm terrible for staying up late. So what my thing was, I need to get to bed before midnight, because I think your recommendation was 10 o'clock. I was like, there's no way I can do that. That feels like I've only just sat down after putting the boys, and I need to have that time, But I thought these 1 o'clock, 2 o'clocks in the morning aren't good for me, so I need to get it down. So that was the target, which I did. And it does really help your whole overall well-being. And the cold showers as well, the freezing cold blast, was a good one as well. And those things, I think sometimes when you get involved and do something around health or well-being, there's certain things that stick, aren't there, that become habits. And every time you go back and do the whole thing again, another thing might stick and become a habit. Like certain supplements and things like that. I've got all the ones that you recommended, plus I've got all these other ones now. Start getting into Reuben said to me, you look like an old lady taking all your tablets in the morning. I've got all these different supplements I take, but it's only if one runs out and I forget to reorder it that one drops off maybe for a little bit, and then I reorder it again. But I think it's just getting into behaviors or change takes time, doesn't it, when you're trying
it is, and it is all about habits, because a lot of the time we're in, it's just habits that get us into putting on weight, or just becoming a bit of a couch potato, perhaps not getting up. It's just habits. And you're absolutely right. It might be that you do a program and you change a few habits, and then they become the norm, and then you don't even think about them, because that's what you do. And then when you sort of relook at it, oh, I don't do that, so I'm going to try and do this, and then that becomes a habit. And then over time, those your sort of not so good habits are less, and your better habits are more. And that's what we're trying to do.
And I think also change. You might agree with this about change, because it can feel uncomfortable at the beginning, because, like you say, it's just behaviors and habits again, isn't it? But actually, it's good to feel uncomfortable, because it means you're doing something different. You're challenging yourself. And I think those habits will then become normal. So it won't feel like there's a big change. It will feel comfortable.
And I'm the same as you with regards to, like, I'm more of a night owl. I'm not very good at early morning. So and obviously I don't get home until about 10 o'clock most nights. So for me to go to bed at 10, that just isn't going to happen. But one of the things that I do, same as you, right, okay, I've got to get into bed before 12. And so I was having to, like, listen to my own advice and do what I'm telling other people to do, and it is, and sometimes and we can be resistant to things because they're hard, because it requires a bit more effort. But sometimes when you give in to that resistance and you just do it anyway,
Exactly.
it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Yeah. And it's great that everybody had you. I know from being part of your group, there was other people sharing stuff. You get ideas from other people sharing what they've cooked and things like that as well. And
Yes,
you're
yeah.
part of a community, which I don't think people look at, but it actually is really supportive. I know I felt really supported in the community, and it also becomes a bit competitive as well, because if you think, if you've had a bad day and not done the exercise, when I was seeing other people saying, oh, I've done this twice, geez, I better go and get it done before I get to bed.
Yeah.
It gets sort of nice competition that it just keeps on track, really, in a camp.
Yeah, because you're thinking, well, if they can do it, then I can do it, really. Yeah, I've got no excuse. And you know, that's, we've got that at the studio as well. Very supportive group of members, and when anyone new comes in, you know, everyone's sort of like, hello, and you know, and I always say to people, because obviously it's very nervous when you do anything new for the first time, or especially coming into the studio. When you're online, it's a little bit different because you're not physically having to go anywhere. You're doing, you know, you're still meeting people in the group, but they can't see you as such. But I always say, look, all these ladies were in the same place that you're in now. The only reason they're fitter is because they've been doing it longer. They've just been doing it longer than you. They're no better. They're the same. It's just they're further along their journey than you are. And then, you know, I was introduced them to some people, so they've got people to talk to. But yeah, it's you know, it's got to be a supportive group, because we all work better when we're in a group situation and we've got other people that are saying to help us.
Yeah, exactly. So what's happening right now? I know, obviously, do you want to tell people, because I know people will be listening to this worldwide, actually, globally. Not everybody will be based in Worcestershire, in the UK. But I know you've got your studio there. Do you want to tell people what's happening, what's the future, what's going on?
Yeah, so obviously I got some online programs running prior to COVID, as you know, because you were part of them. But I think what COVID has done is made me realise that actually other women have reached out to me, and I think I want to help women over 40 sort of be empowered, feel comfortable, sexy in their own skin, and I want to help as many women as possible. So that means with the internet, it's fabulous, isn't it? You know, that means we can actually reach people far wider than our area that we live in. So I am working on a program. It's going to be a 12-week program, which is going to help women basically feel good and sexy in their own skin. And obviously it will be through fitness is what I've chosen in order to help women. So it will be a 12-week program, be online. There will be coaching from me, so it's going to be a little bit more in depth than some of the other programs. I've realized perhaps where I needed to add a little bit more personal coaching in, or group coaching. So I think it's made me think a little bit bigger.
That's good.
Yeah.
So how could people, if people were interested in that 12-week program, want to know more, or just want to come and follow you, because I know you share some really good stuff on social media and stuff, how do they get in touch with you, or how do they find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, and it's Nicola Carless on Facebook, and so they can follow me from there. I am on Instagram as well, Nicola Carless 1. I think there must be another Nicola Carless somewhere. And if anybody wants to have a consultation, have a chat with me about where they are now and perhaps how I can help them, then they can contact me via my email address, and we can sort of arrange to speak. From that.
So we'll put those links and email addresses and your Facebook profile in the comments as well. So if anyone listening to this, you're over 40, you want to change not just your diet, your fitness, but just your overall well-being, really, then we'll put the details in so you can contact Nicola. So one question I always ask everybody at the end of the interviews, I forgot to prepare you for this, actually. I'm putting you on the spot now. But because the podcast is called Your Freedom Podcast, yeah, what does freedom mean to you?
Okay. So freedom to me, and this is why I want to go wider with an online program. Freedom to me is being able to work from anywhere. So that's what freedom means to me. Sort of not having to be in one location, being able to work from anywhere in the world, because I like traveling.
Yeah, brilliant, great stuff. Well, I really, really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy lady, and it was hard
thank
to
you.
pin you down. So I really appreciate your time, and thanks for sharing your thoughts. And thanks for everybody listening. You know, contact Nikki directly in the comment section if you're listening on YouTube, and if you're on iTunes, it'll be in the show notes. All Nikki's details to get in touch with her. But thanks for listening, and thanks for your time, Nikki.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Anna.
Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey.